Welcome back, radio entrepreneurs, listeners, and fans. I'm producer Nathan Gobes, filling in again for Jeffrey Davis this morning. I've got at my side Peter Myerson, author and retired attorney. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Nathan. Great to be here. Impossible to fill in for Jeffrey.
Yeah, we do try, though, regardless. It's great to have you as a co-host.
To be here.
And of course, our guest for this segment is one that our listeners and viewers probably know well, Marc Z, president of Marc Z Legal Staffing. Welcome, Marc.
Thanks, Nathan. Great to be here and great to participate with yourself and Peter. Great to see you, Peter.
Great to see you, Marc. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Always.
So I know you have a specific topic for us, but maybe real quick before we dive into it, it was occurring to us off air before we got on that it's been a while since we've given the listeners and viewers an overview of what it is you do. Tell us about Marc Z Legal Staffing in general, and tell employers, business owners how they can utilize your services, and then we'll get into your topic.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Peter. So our company, Marc Z Legal, we have two areas that we really focus on. That is the contract or the temporary side, and then the full-time recruiting side. Under the Marc Z Legal Recruiting, we specialize in all aspects of legal recruiting, starting from attorneys at all levels, in all types of organizations, in addition to law firms. So whether it's a university, biopharma, technology company, nonprofit, in addition to law firms, we place attorneys at all levels, as well as paralegals, mid-level managers, and staff. On the contract temporary side, we do the same thing. We do a lot of extensive work in providing temporary contract attorneys for coverage of healthcare leaves or needs that employers have. Our clients range from solo practitioners to multi-million-dollar law firms, and we again represent the universities, the biopharmas, technology companies, any kind of space. We provide contract assistance, and really, really interesting organizations. And every organization of some kinds needs legal assistance in some way. In the same capacities, we provide not only contract attorneys at different levels, we have part-time opportunities, we have full-time opportunities, we have assignment-based opportunities, we have temp to perm opportunities, and again, in addition to attorneys, paralegals, mid-level managers, support staff, compliance, any need affecting some kind of legal services, we provide that. And we've been doing that for over 35 years now.
Do you have, I don't want to avoid your topic because I think it's a very interesting one that you're going to talk about, but do you solicit the employees to get in touch with you also?
Yeah, so what we do, again, when we have two different divisions under the recruiting model, we have organizations, whether it's a law firm, company, or any organization, they retain us to find attorneys, to find paralegals, attorneys at all levels, partner, general counsel, assistant GC, specialized paralegals, to find the right fit. It could be a corporate paralegal, business paralegal, it could be a paralegal for trial law, litigation, family law, commercial and residential real estate. In all these areas, we place all from attorneys to paralegals, support staff. At the same time, we work with a lot of attorneys at all levels and assisting them with their careers. So attorneys will come to us and they'll say, we reach a certain point in our career where we would like to go in-house. We would like to get on a partnership track. We would like to work for a bigger firm, a smaller firm. We would like to have more career balance, meaning less hours where we have to bill. So, for example, we recently placed somebody that the billable hours were 1,500 billable hours, whereas some firms, the billable hours are 2,200 billable hours. And so we really, when we meet people at different stages, primarily attorneys or paralegals or mid-level managers, we strategically will work with them and try to find out what they're specifically looking for, and then try to match them with an opportunity that fits that need. At the same time, on the organization, company, or law firm side, we'll work with those firms, organizations, and companies to try to find the right fit, to recruit people that have the skill set and experience that would be best for those roles.
Excellent. Excellent. So I know you wanted to talk to us today about the changing role of hybrid employment. It comes, it's been coming, it's been going, but where does it fit into the hiring world and staffing world today? And I know this conversation is what's great about your Marc Z moments is that these are not just applicable to legal staffing, which is of course what you focus on, but your conversations, these are trends in staffing and hiring overall. So why don't you tell us what you've been seeing?
Thank you, Nathan. Well, the whole issue with hybrid and the labor market, excuse me, has been uncertainty. Organizations, law firms, companies, and individuals, they really have a lot of uncertainty in terms of what would be the right balance to protect the health of their employees, at the same time have a productive work environment where people will benefit. For example, during COVID, a lot of companies and firms and organizations, they looked to hire people, but they had to onboard them remotely. The employees were not allowed in the office. And if they were allowed in the office, it was for a limited time. And a lot of times the attorneys that they supported or worked for in some ways might not even come into the office then, or if they came, it was on a limited time frame, and they weren't getting the mentorship, they weren't getting the responsibilities, and they weren't bonding with the people they were supposed to support and work with, as well as their colleagues. And so the employers wrestle with what works best. And a lot of people excelled working remotely with the companies and organizations and firms. And for law firms, it was a bonanza as far as billable hours. And employees, especially employees with families or large commutes, they were able to cut that down. And so some of the employers that were more the suburban or small firms outside the city, they did have people come in on a regular basis, but they had a hybrid schedule. The bigger firms, they were sort of in a flux. Eventually, in the last month or two, after several, not false starts, but starts that were changed due to the dynamics of the way the COVID variants were coming in, now the employers are having set schedules. Employees, when they came in, they wanted to know when they came in to start their job, when they came in for interviews, what is the schedule? What are your expectations for in-office work versus remote work? And gradually, employers carved out policies. Some policies were set in stone, and some policies were variations. And so that's where we are now. We're moving to the direction because the new variant is supposed to not as effective and to be to be one where employees can bounce back quicker. So employers are now giving set schedules, and that's come in the last within the last few weeks to the last month. So you have employers now giving set schedules, giving employees what their expectations, and when they're hiring, they're letting employees know we're doing, and it's in the offer letters, it's 3 days in, 2 days out, or you'll have a rotating day if you want. So a lot of the scheduling is becoming more set in stone versus fluid, because previously employers just didn't know. They didn't know what to say because they were following the CDC guidelines.
Right. Peter, any thoughts or questions for Mark?
No, I mean, it's really an interesting problem because, employees want to have some idea of what they're doing, and employers want to have some idea what their employees are doing. And, this has just been a very complicated time period. You sound like you're really on top of this process, Mark. I mean, so kudos. It's a tough problem.
It changes with the day, Peter. I mean, we're right in the trenches, as far as doing deals, trying to recruit for positions where employees are asking, can I work fully remote? If I can, I'd be very interested. If I can't, then I'm staying in my job. Or if I can't, then I'm not interested in your opportunity. Or, the whole vaccination process. There's still a lot of people that aren't vaccinated. Well, what reason are you not vaccinated? Is it a medical or religious exemption? Can the employer make an accommodation? And as everybody goes back and understands COVID better, then it's a whole different dynamics to what works for the employer and what works for the employee. We've had a lot of deals that haven't gone through because people wanted to know what was set in stone, and we've had a lot of deals that that got tabled that eventually worked out once everybody came to some kind of solid understanding. But it's more constructive now. At least there are guidelines that employers can work with. I think just this new variant and guidelines. And yesterday I heard news in terms of that masks are going to be lifted and on airline flights and public transportation, and that could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing, because what happens is not with COVID, but a lot of disease that used to spread is now, the flu and other different people are going to start getting these when they didn't get it before during COVID. It wasn't just COVID; it prevented them from getting other diseases.
Yeah, it's a really interesting problem because so many people got used to the idea of working remotely, and it's now, I think, become kind of a condition of certain people's employment.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's part of the negotiation. And if they can have at least 1 or 2 days remote, that's becoming a factor whether or not they will even be interested in the position.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, Mark, it's changing day by day, which is why we bring you back very, very regularly on our show for these Mark Z moments, these staffing and hiring updates. I want to thank you for joining us, Mark. If people want to reach out to Mark Z Legal Staffing, have questions or have hiring needs, or they're an attorney or paralegal or anything in the legal field and they are looking for positions, any of those or more, how could people reach out to you?
Well, first of all, Nathan, it has been a pleasure talking to you and Peter, and really appreciate the opportunity to be on the show. The way that people can find us is, first of all, Google Marc Z, M-A-R-C-Z, and just Google that, M-A-R-C, and the letter Z, and Google that, or marczlegal.com, M-A-R-C-Z-L-E-G-A-L.com, or 617-338-1300.
Excellent. And Peter, I know you are an author. You're a retired attorney, but you're also an author. How can people reach you or find your books, plural? Well, second one's coming.
Second one's coming. They can, reach me at my email, which is ppmyerson@aol.com. And if they want a copy of the book electronically, they just go to Amazon and in the search bar, type my name and my book will come up. If they want a printed copy, they go to some place called The Book Patch. And it produces incredibly good print-on-demand copies, and they'll send out a copy to anybody who wants one.
Great. And of course, if anyone wants to find more Marc Z moments, they can head to radioentrepreneurs.com. We're also on LinkedIn, of course, YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to us there or on your favorite podcast channel. We're streaming on most, so you can catch more content from Radio Entrepreneurs. We'll be back with more after this break.